This is Edwina with Elegant Creations, and I wanted to do a tutorial, and this is for Saturday Morning Makes with Jill Norwood, and I wanted to do a tutorial on my little villages, my ornaments. I did the ones with the barn last time, so this time I wanted to see if I can get both of these done, these two, and these are all the same, using the same die, and I did do this die. Oops, not this one. This one is called a cake, the cake shop it's called, and I got this on Amazon, and I'll leave the link below. And it's a pretty easy die to use, but I don't use all this little stuff. It was just way too tiny. So I did use this. This is the roof, this is the awning, and the door, and the bottom part of the house or shop, and then this is the main part. Okay, so I did cut 4, and so I can make it more sturdy, and then I made my own box, but I'll give you the measurements. Okay, so the measurements for these 3 the same, and it's for the box. Okay, and it's the box I cut at 7 by 4.5, and I do cut some paper that I'm going to use, whichever it's off-white or pink, whatever color I'm going to use. I cut at 2.5 by 4.5, just so I can run it through my die cut, but you don't have to do that. You can just do a half a sheet, fold the sheet in half. I usually do 2 at a time. Okay, and then on your score lines, it's 2.25 by 3.25 by 5.5 by 6.5. Then you turn it and you do the 1 inch on each side. Okay, so I went ahead and did the box just to save time, because this is the same box we've done many times. I just did it on both sides. So here's your inch here, and here's the other inch. This is the top and bottom, so an inch and an inch. Okay, and you're just gonna fold these up, and this is going to be your little box. But before I do my box, I will glue some cardboard pieces. Okay, and I just measured from here to here, and then I cut it a little bit smaller on the top and then on one side, just because when you start putting all your cardboards in, your sides and your back, it will get a little tight. But this is just to give it stability. Okay. Okay, so I cut 2 cardboards for front and back, and then 2 sides, and they're going to go on the inside, and I just use cereal boxes. That's all I use. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just tell you all the things that I do, but let me show you this. I got online and I went on clip art, and I just kind of typed in toy store and just different sweet shops, things like that. I did put a little bit too much glitter on this. I'm going to scrape up a little bit of it. So this one matched perfectly with the green. You can see a little bit of it. There's a tree and some little toys and stuff in it. I just kind of wanted the windows to show something on the ornaments. And on my vintage tea room, I went in and I typed up teapots and tea party, and I had gotten some pretty little images there, and I did use my book. And then this one, I did use those stickers that I had gotten at that yard sale, and so I just cut them apart and stuck them in there, because it's a little truck with all kinds of little toys, and then it says December 24th. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, and so then I just use greenery, and these are pretty easy to put together, but I do change them up a little bit for myself, just to kind of make them a little different. But I do use these pipe cleaners, and I do use the tinsel one for the pink ones, and I just kind of wrap them around and put a wire around it just to have my hanger. Okay, and then I do cardboard boxes, and again I do 5 or 6, however sturdy I want it, and then I do I measure the size I want. So I leave a little bit on this side, a little bit in the front. Not, I put it all the way against in the back, and then a little bit in the side. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started so I don't run out of time. And so here's my box. So I'm going to go ahead and do my cardboard pieces. And I already measured them. So I don't like to do the shiny one. I want to make sure that it does stick. So I usually do, because no one will tell that it's inside and it'll be sealed. Okay. And I probably should have done this already. Let's do this real quick. I try to make sure I get the corners. The corners are the most important. Okay. Just stick your hand in there and kind of give it that. That I already did all my cutting to make sure that they stick. And then you seal it up. I got my bone folder. Okay, so then you just seal up your box. This will be your top or your bottom, whichever one you want. And if you want to put a cardboard here for the top to make it a little bit more sturdy, you can. So you can use either one, on your top or your bottom. Okay, so then, okay, so I wanted to show you how I do the brick. But I'm going to go ahead and just put this together just so you can see how easy this is. And I forgot a piece. Okay, so I cut 4, and 2 I did with the brick, and 2 I didn't. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these 2 to the back of this one, and then the other one. So this one kind of shows the indentions of the door. Okay. And then this one will go on this one. And I will show you how I do the brick. Okay, so then you're just going to glue this to the box, to your corners. I'm just going to put that down. Make sure I'm on the frame. Okay, and then you're going to put this one in the back. And then I also ran, when I cut them, I think this is 2.5. You just measure your box. And then I did 2 pieces of these, and I ran them through my embosser. And then those are going to be the sides. And you can ink the sides, the box, just so it doesn't show any pieces. I forgot to. Yes, I should. Forgot my brush. And I didn't match them up or anything, it just because I'll put glitter and that will hide a lot of stuff, so you won't be able to tell. And I don't think anybody will examine it to make sure that it doesn't go all the way around. It doesn't match up. This embossing folder is pretty nice, so it kind of repeats itself. So I put these at the top and then these at the bottom, and so it does match up pretty good. Okay, so there's my box. And so then I run, so this one I'm going to do red. And I run my roof. And I do 3 layers. I go ahead and I run it 3 times. This one I did a little lighter red just because I had no more of this one in scraps. So I used up a lot of scraps. So I'm going to go ahead and just glue this down. I thought I had it done. Just because I want it to be sturdy. So I put 3. Because 1 is not enough, so I just, and I don't put it in the back. And you can if you want to, if you do get this. Or if you have a decorative piece, you could put that on top. Okay. So then I just put my glue right there. Put that down. And then I have this awning. And I do put 2 pieces of this back to back so it stays sturdy. Okay, I didn't want to lay my awning flat, so I just did a little, made myself a little, I folded it in half. I just got a little piece, I'm not sure how wide, maybe half an inch, and then I folded it in half and I cut a little bit off. It's not measured, it's not anything, and so I'm going to put this in the back, okay, with the opening down, okay? So I put a little bit of glue here, and this is just going to help it stay up a little bit. So this is so tiny to glue, I just decided to do it this way, and it's been working. So what it does is, this one I used a different awning that I had from my stash, so I did that, and I did the same thing. So you just put a little piece there, so it kind of keeps it popped up a little bit. And that's all you do on that. Okay, so what I did was I had this die. It does come with one. It's a little thin, so I decided to do my own, and this cuts out. So that's this one right here. Okay, and okay, I ran this through my acetate. I put acetate on it just to make it look like a window. Kind of got glue on it. Okay, so I used the art glitter glue to adhere this to the picture because of the acetate. And then I just got a picture that has sweets, or you could use it as a bakery. Okay, and so I got this on the internet also. Okay. And then you just cut this off. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue my awning to the back of this. And so I find my awning. What did I do with it? Oh, here it is. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and put glue in the back of this, and then I'm going to put this on my picture. That way it doesn't show. There. Okay, so then you can just bring that over, and so then you would just put glue all the way around. And this doesn't show, it's crooked, but it doesn't show. They're just scrap pieces. So you'll get a bottom piece so that you put that there, and just that way you can measure where you want your window. And I like the acetate because it makes it look like a window, and it's just not the picture there. But you really can do whatever you want. That's just the way that I did it, to protect the picture also. So then there's that. Okay. And then I used a different door than they had. This is to one of my other, I think this one is to the gable box, the spellbinder. So I was going to do my door right there. I like to change it up, not always use what they have. Okay, so I cut out my, this is to a purse, and it's the handle that goes over the little flap, and so I use this for a lot of my labels. And so I had a stamp that said bake, so I'm going to just put that there. Down there. And I forgot my, and you can make it smaller if you want, so I'm just going to put it like that. I might make it smaller, so I'm not going to attach that, okay? So just because I might change it. And that's pretty much it for this one, and it's pretty easy to put together. And then I get my cardboard and I would put it on there, and then I do have to ink this, the brown, and then I get my greenery and I would wrap it around this. I'm going to take this off because it keeps falling off. And then I would just wrap my greenery like that, and I would put real thin wire, and I would make a little loop so I can hang it. So that's how I do that. Okay, and then when I get my cardboard, then I wrap it around and put these little glitter balls that I get from Hobby Lobby. And you can glitter it before you put all this stuff on, and that way it's easier to get to everything. And then what I do with this little, I typed up a bunch of words that said open, cut them real small, and then put gold, and then I had a little ribbon and then just attached it to the roof. Okay, but I think I'm going to cut the red a little bit down. That's what I did on this one. Okay, and you can put little windows on the side. You can see the brick a little bit, but I put too much glitter on this one. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I do my brick. Okay, I went ahead and I used it's like a mauve color for Stampin' Up. It was way too juicy, and that's how dark it came out, and I'm not going to use this one, but it was way too bright. So I just been playing around with it, and this one I did brown, then I put pink with my brush, and then I did a little bit of purple. So I'm not an expert at this. I was just playing with it, and I just kind of been getting just different colors and stuff. And then this one I did pink paper with the vintage photo distress ink. And what I do, and then this is the vintage photo with just the off-white paper. Okay, and then this is the mauve when I kind of ran it on a scrap piece of paper and then ran it on the one I was going to use. So this is how it made it. So I think this is on a pink piece of paper. This is on an off-white. So you just kind of have to play around with it before you even do it. So this is my embossing folder. And so on this side where it has a Stampin' Up, I run my ink through it, just like this. You can use a brush when it is juicy, or that way you don't get as much on it. But I just kind of rubbed it like that. Then I get I don't have a piece of paper. So then I just get the side I want. I leave it up. Wait a minute, did I do that right? Yes. Okay, so this one will be this way. So I just put my paper that way, and then I get my little sides, and I will get my, pretend here, I just get this side, and then I will put the other one. So make sure you ink all the way. And then I just get my other piece here, and then I run it through my machine. And when you run it through, you will get your ink on this side, okay? So don't ink this side like I did so many times. I just kind of look for the little label, and that's the side you ink. And so I run it through my machine, and I run it back once forward, once backwards, and that kind of gives it the raised effect, and it will go inside the little lines here, okay? And that's what I do. So I make sure that I get them all done at the same time. And then the mistake I made on this one is I was doing a different box, and I only ran one, and I started playing with it, and then I couldn't remember the formula. So if you're going to play with it, once you get it, then you make sure that you do all your pieces at the same time so they all come out the same. But this one I was just kind of playing with it, and I couldn't replicate it, so this is my sample. Okay, but I do have some purple in here and some pink, and I think I had the off-white with the brown, and that's what I did with that. Okay, so that's pretty easy to do too. It's not hard. And so I want to see if I have a little bit of time. Okay, I want to do this box. Okay. Okay, so I do the box the same, and I have the measurements for that one. And this is the Sweet Shop ornament, and that is this one. Okay. And the box is 6.5 by 4.5, and I scored at 2 by 3 by 5 by 6. Then I turned it, and I only did this one side. Okay. This side is open, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. And you can do the box, the first one I did it like just like this. Okay, so you can do that too. So then I cut 2 by 3, and I cut 4 of them. Okay, and I ran it through this one I didn't run as tight on the brick, so because I wanted it a little bit lighter. So I did the off-white and then ran it in pink. Okay, so you would put these two pieces together. If it cuts off, I'm not going to do another video. I'll just go ahead and continue it. I'll do a part 2, okay? So forgive me if it does run out. I can't see how much time I have left. Okay. So sometimes I do these videos 3 or 4 times, and it's kind of hard to do that. Okay. So that's what you have to do on these. And then the same thing, you would just put it on your box. Okay. I'm going to do this kind of fast because I think I'm going to run out of time. I got to clean out my tablet. I've got so many pictures of my grandson, so I'm running out of space. Okay. And these are just really easy. You just have to kind of play around with all your different dyes and get them. So I am going to put the sides, but I'm not going to do that now, okay? Because oops, I forgot. Oh yeah, I have to do that. Okay. Same thing, you cut your cardboard for your inside before I measure them before. And then I do the white. So I'm kind of going fast, I know. And my friend always tells me I go too fast. Okay, so then I'm going to do my sides. And that's exactly, I cut them. You just have to do some measuring, because every box will be different if you want these bigger. Just did the more medium size. Oops, I did that on the shiny side. Should make sure that down. Set your ends are here to your box. Okay. Okay. So what I did was I cut a piece of paper that is okay. Here it is, top of the roof. So I cut a 3 3/4 by 1 1/4. And I took a little bit off of the before I scored it, okay, and just so it fits in the inside. And then I scored at a how did I do this? I think it's 1/4 inch here on the sides, okay. And then I did, I don't know what I did. Oh, it's a 1/2 inch, and that's this little piece right here. And then 1 1/4, I did this a long time ago, and then 2 1/4, 2 1/2, I'm sorry, and by 3 3/4. Okay. And then you're just going to fold them all in. And then what I do is I fold it here and I cut, just like I did the barn. And you cut them here, cut all these little pieces. And this is going to insert, if you want a roof, you don't have to. You can do it flat. I decided to do this. Okay. And this you have to kind of play around with. Okay. So then it will sit just like that. So glue one side first and then the other. So it would sit like this. This little pieces will show on top, but then, and all I did was measure from here to here, from here to here, and then that's how I got my measurements. And that's what you do on the box, okay? I'm not going to do that now because that will take too much time. Okay, so then I went ahead and this little piece right here will cut out this little window. So I took out all the little cross frames there. So that's the window I use for this one. I use this glue. Got a couple glues going on here. And then I did the same. And I used the exact same design, but when you have the pink and then one has the red. So it kind of brings out the different colors. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that. And then I cut another piece, a smaller die for the top, and then that's going to go glued right there. Okay. To kind of give it a little bit, and you can put dimensionals if you want to kind of make it stand up more. I didn't want it to stand up too much. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down. And then I cut this door off of a different one I had. This one is from scratch, so it doesn't have really die cuts that I cut these out of. Okay, and this one I did different, because what I decided to do was do an awning. And I have showed how I do the awnings on my tree boxes, so that's the same awning, okay? But I just made a smaller version. You just have to measure. Oops, wrong side. So this is going to be butted up against this right here, okay? Just glue that down. Make sure it's even. So I like to do different ones and just kind of make them all look different. I don't want them, like when I do my sweet shops, I'm kind of trying to do them the same, and then when I do my the tea rooms and different ones, I'm trying to keep them the same, because I was going back and forth and getting myself all confused. So okay, and then you just put little glue on this little end right here. That's good. And if you don't put the sides, you don't have to. Oops, I think I went over a little bit. I'm trying to rush. I'm probably going to end up having to do another awning because I messed this one up. There. And then I will decorate this with some lace, make it look very lacy. And then I got my sign, and